everyone. It is Pat, and I am back on the airwaves. Today is Sunday, the 22nd of June. And I want to wish you a happy solstice. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday afternoon. I haven't been on in a while, mostly because been dealing with some health-related issues, and sometimes you just need to take a step back, take a little sabbatical, and take care of your own energy, your own health, your own well-being. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I have some physical issues that are really going on that are it's really draining my energies. So I haven't been on as much to do some of these. But anyways, I did want to come on today and this time of the solstice that we just had. And because I feel like kind of going into these summer months, it's going to start to get a bit intense. And I know back in March, I did a reading about the turning of the tides, where I had mentioned I felt like the tides were turning in the direction of, more in the direction of people rising up against the current administration in this country. And, as we had the beginning first quarter of the year where our new government came into place here in the United States, and they were kind of charging forward, imposing all sorts of changes that were uncomfortable, disruptive to people, and they're still going on. But people have started to speak up. That's what I felt was going to happen around that turning of the tide. It's like, oh, now the tide's going to start to come in and go against them. And that, I feel like this summer, that's going to intensify. Okay, unfortunately, it's one of those situations where it has to get worse and kind of ugly before it gets better. I like to keep things, I always like to stay in a positive mode. But, let's just face it. Sometimes there are, shitty, ugly things that happen in life and difficult situations. It's not the first time this country has gone through a crisis. It's just never been one that I think that we've had from within so much. And that makes it difficult. It's very unprecedented in many ways. But so anyways, I just wanted to see what some of the cards said about messages for this summer. And so, of course, I reach out to my archangels because to me, those are the higher energies that we need to hear from. What messages do they have for us? Sometimes it's heralding something that's coming in, and other times it's just what we see happening. It's reflective of what they see going on and how we can work with it. So I pulled from the Archangel deck. Of course, I always do that. See what archangels are overseeing us. And of course, one of the ones that flipped out right away was this one from Jeremiah. It says, overcoming difficulties. He says in this card, the worst is now behind you and you're surmounting any previous challenges. And the card has the image of the beautiful bird going over the mountain. And it has kind of like that really neat cloud formation in the back that almost looks like a UFO. But my feeling about that is, that's what it's showing us. We are entering this time where it's going to be its most challenging and at its most difficult. Archangel Jeremiah is an angel who helps people transition from their earth life to the spirit life. And he guides them, helps them through that process afterwards, the life review. And he helps people to be more merciful with themselves. He's an angel of mercy. And, he's letting us know that we will get through this, okay? As we go into our summer months, I just feel like there's going to be a lot of heightened intensity. As it is right now, there's dramas going on between the protests, the army parade, the raids that were going on in Los Angeles, and now this whole war with Iran. It's like drama after drama after drama. That's how this person who calls himself the president, that's how he likes it. And I say that specifically, that he calls himself the president. If that feels uncomfortable with you and, you're not into that or from that viewpoint, I empathize with you, but this channel might not be for you. But I say that specifically because I think we're going to find out some things about how he got into this position, and for entertainment purposes only. But anyway, so Archangel Jeremiah is letting us know that we are going to get past this difficulty, and he's helping us through this time of transition. And when we go through a transition, there are structures that sometimes have to fall apart and fall away to make room for the new. And and it can be very difficult. It can be very unsettling as we see that happen. But anyways, we have Archangel Jeremiah working with us in this time. Now let's see who else did I pick from here today. Whew. The heat's starting to come in finally for the summer. Where I am, it took a little bit longer for it to make its way in, but now we have a new moon coming up this week, which is always about new beginnings. I'm going to pull from the fairies to see. Fairies, what do we need to know for our summer? And what's going on? And, with this card again, I mentioned I feel like we're hitting the crescendo. When I did that reading back in March, I said I felt like the tide was coming in and be in that high tide frame, like right around June in the summertime. And in this image, he's giving us the image of the mountain. So we're finally trying to get it so you can see it. All right. Ooh, there it was. There's the mountain in the back, and it's like the bird is finally like cresting the top of that mountain. And it's going to get easier after that. Okay. We also have this card that wants to come out. You are supported. Okay. So this speaks to people who, I have to get in here and be able to help you guys. Oh, there we go. Either I fade in and out. That's what it is with these backgrounds here we go. You are supported. So both in terms of the world at large and our country and what it's going through, as well as for what you might be going through personally at this time. I think there are people out there might be watching this who are going through a really difficult time right now. Maybe for reasons other than what's going on politically in our country. So this card wants you to know, it says, allow heaven to carry you as well as any burdens you may have. And I feel like I want to say with this that you are being prayed for. There are unseen loving forces that are supporting you and helping you through this time to get through it. Okay. You're not alone. And sometimes it can feel like a burden. And you might feel overwhelming, like you have a lot to deal with. Okay. But you are being supported. And there are blessings that will continue to come your way that are being brought your way right now. Okay. So that's one of the other messages they want you to know. And that speaks to us as a nation as well, and us as a world, because the difficult times that we're going through aren't just the political ones that we here in the United States are dealing with. There's other things in the world, and there's certainly more in terms of natural disasters that we might be dealing with, increased intensity of storms and things like that. So let's see. I'm going to call on Colette Barron Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle to ask what messages they want to share with us for the summer. What we need to know going forward. Spirit, what do you wish us to know? What's ahead for us this summer? Okay. Oh, all right. Nothing's jumping out of the deck. That's what I always look for, is if something's jumping out of the deck. But, okay. Okay, here we go. I paused the recording momentarily because it was getting hot and I needed to get my hair up and out of the way. I know that's really weird. I also needed to sit, because as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I've been having some issues with physical pain that tie up a lot of my energy sometimes, and I can't stand up for too long. And at present, I don't have a table to really sit comfortably at. So anyways, that aside, that's just a little personal detail info about what's going on. But so I've got some other cards that I've pulled here for the summer. First one that came out was this one, Clean It Up, from Clip Barrett and Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Now, at a personal level, clutter clearing, clean it up. It speaks to picking up your personal environment. It's also cleaning up your thoughts. If you find yourself jumping on that train, the negativity train, where if you're watching too much media, you're watching too much of the news that's going on, you can get into a really fear-based place that can, spin us off into a place of worrying and catastrophizing, etc. And while it's certainly good to be prepared and to be, knowledgeable about what's going on, we don't want to stick our head in the sand. We want to make sure that we're paying attention to where our thoughts and energies are going. I also feel, in a larger way, it's heralding what's coming up. There's a big cleanup process that's about to start taking place, okay? Because we know there's been a lot of injustices going on, a lot of wrongdoing. And it's where, how do I want to express this? It's going to start, we're coming into a time, I think, where it's going to start to get cleaned up with, news, information, things that are brought to light, okay? Cleaning up what's become a mess, essentially a mess. And in our country right now. But so that's just, I do feel like it's not going to happen overnight, but I think that some kind of process is going to be starting. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I do know and do sense that things are really going to come to light this summer. And I'm not the only intuitive who sensed that, so it's not like it's exclusive to me, certainly by any means, but it's just time to clean up the mess that's gone on. And it's, as a personal level too, it's about cleaning up your own side of the street, taking responsibility for what's yours, in terms of, what's going on in your life right now. But the clean it up process is underway. And I do feel like a lot of the beginnings of it were going on behind the scenes for a while, okay? And so this is about getting to the bottom of what took place and, beginning the process of clearing it up and clearing it away from ourselves. So we're going to be getting to the core of what's going on, okay? A lot of big things are going to come to light. So we also got the card Unfinished Symphony. Things are not done. There are things that need to be finished. And at a personal level, obviously, it may be attending to projects that and details, things that have piled up that you need to work on or need to be attended to. Unfinished Symphony can often indicate that there's just, there seems to be a lack of closure on something too. Stuff unfinished that needs to be attended to. So, and, in a very real way, for some of you out there who are artists, you might be going back to that. And I mean musical artists, I guess. You may be going back to creating songs again or finishing ones that you started, things like that. Because this is very much I love the piano keyboard here that's in the middle of it. So I just feel like it's a time, in combination with Clean It Up, there's things that we're going to have to attend to. You know, if you clear out a pile of clutter in your office, you come across things that, oh, I need to make this payment. I need to make this phone call about this item. I need to follow up on this. So we're cleaning it up, getting in there to clean up the mess, and getting to things that have been left undone, that need to have closure, that we need to pay attention to or follow through on. Okay. And lastly, we got all that glitters, which is the pile of gold with the masks here. Trying to get the clearest picture of it for you. Okay. And with this card, it's about getting beneath the surface. Okay. It's very much about getting beneath the glittery surface. You know, the stuff that's been presented to us, obviously on the larger scale, in our nation and in the world. We're going to be, some of the things that are going to be exposed are the things that have had this glittery surface, that have, you know, have been presented to us in the media in a certain way. Okay. Oh, yes, isn't this wonderful? You know, I think we're going to hear about the way people have been, they look good on the media, or something they're doing is they're trying to make it look good, but it's, you know, we're going to see what's underneath that glittery surface, what's really going on. Okay. You know, and an example that comes to mind is, you know, our current man, number 47, for entertainment purposes only, likes to present that gold, shiny, look at me, everything I do glitters with gold. Even himself, you know, they are probably doing lots of things to make him look good, appear good whenever he's on camera. But underneath that, there's a lot of illness there, perhaps physical illness. There's other things going on behind the scenes, et cetera, et cetera. So this is about getting beneath the surface. All right. We're looking deeper, or, you know, and it's certainly a sign that behind the scenes, things have been looked into at a deeper level, and we're going to find out about that. Okay. So, and, you know, at a personal level, for a lot of us, I want to say the hit I get about it right now is that we kind of want to be on the lookout for some scams, because scams are things that make themselves look, or they can try to make themselves look very pretty on the surface, like they're something legit. Sometimes they can even make you look like they're legitimately trying to protect you, but they're not. And so it's both a reminder and a message that we have to be on the lookout for, or just be mindful of some of those. And if something looks too good to be true, it probably may be exactly too good to be true. Doesn't mean that, you know, our wonderful personal dreams, doesn't mean that, you know, a personal dream of yours that appears to be coming true won't come true. It doesn't mean that, or that, you know, doesn't mean you don't pay attention to the fruition of your dreams and the fulfillment of something. It just means that we need to take a second look at things that may be being presented to us and look beneath the surface at what's going on. Okay. I work in my day job in an environment where we're kind of dealing with that all the time, where people get presented with something on the surface that appears to be real, appears to be legit, gets them into a panic, or they move forward with making a purchase only to find out that it's a scam. So there's a bit of that, because they may be, with all the unrest that's going on in our country, those types of things might be on the rise. So let's see, what other? Now, that isn't meant to be all doom and gloom. As I stated before, we have our angels watching over us, and we are being supported through this time. We will get through it. And I think culminating in the fall, there's going to be some pretty significant events that take place. I can't say exactly what those events might be. I just get the sense that whatever happens is going to be something that's very unprecedented. Okay. And so we are kind of having to, this country is always known for being revolutionary, doing something new, what have you, doing things differently. And we are going to have to come up with a process that we've never had before to get us out of the crisis and the mess that we're currently in. And so as we conclude the summer and get into the fall, I think we may see that come to light. Okay. Anyways, keep the faith, keep up your hope, because things will get better, especially I think as we get into next year. Unfortunately, we still have to finish the rest of this year first. We still have half the year to go, but we can do it. We are resilient. And let's see. Actually, with this card, I also get, for opportunities that are being presented to some of you, if you're making changes in your life. Just make sure that you really look into it and make sure that it's what you really want. Okay, that's part of the All That Glitters card too. Sometimes, you meet someone new and it seems like in your relationship, it looks all glittery on the surface. But then as you get to know them a little better, you realize it might not be the best compatible relationship for you. And it could be something similar with maybe a job opportunity that you've come across or that you've applied for that's offered to you. Just look a little bit beneath the surface and make sure that you understand what it's really about and make sure that it's the right choice for you. Okay? Because when we see something that looks like something we ideally want, it's that glitter. It has that glittery feel to us. But sometimes we just need to look underneath and make sure that it's something that we really want and to move forward with. Okay. So anyways, let's pull I want to pull an Archangel Michael card to finish us out for his message for us, and what we can, because Archangel Michael, as you know, is our angel of protection, strength, empowerment. Okay. Archangel Michael, what is your message for us going into this summer? Oh, he says sense of humor. He's like, which is a sign. He's like, remember to laugh. Sometimes when there's a comedy of error or a lot of things going on that are intense, we do need to remember to keep our sense of humor about things, to lighten things up. It doesn't mean that we're not paying attention to what's really going on or doing something about it, but it does mean we need to take care of our own energy, our own well-being, and remember to laugh sometimes. Sometimes you kind of have to laugh at the craziness. I had a couple of things that didn't go well yesterday. My table literally collapsed on me, and I just laughed, and I said, okay, Spirit, is there anything else that's going to fall apart right now? But anyways, he's reminding us, do what you need to do. Go out to a comedy club, watch a show that makes you laugh, clips of things that make you laugh, and have fun and good times with friends and family. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining me. Glad to be back on the airwaves again, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care, everyone.